We live on a globe. One of the repercussions of this fact is that to understand what takes place on this planet, such as changes in climate, we need to apply a global perspective. Each country, and region for that matter, relies on both local and global information. Luckily, we live in the age of information. We gather lots of information. In November 2009, hackers got hold of thousands of emails from the Climategate research unit at the University of East Anglia in the United Kingdom, revealing a dialogue among an international group of climate scientists. One of the issues spotlighted by the media in the wake of this event was the lack of unrestricted public access to meteorological data. There are both economic and security issues connected to certain Earth observation data. In addition, there are competitive and human factors that come into play. This complicates the sharing of information between countries and regions, institutions and colleagues. So even though it is in our common interest to have climate models and projections based on state-of-the-art data, there are societal and political issues that conflict with this common interest. Planet Earth is a very complex system that can be divided into three major subsystems: the atmosphere, the oceans, and land. Sometimes we subdivide it further, adding specific subsystems such as the cryosphere, which is ice and snow, the biosphere, which is all life on Earth, and the anthroposphere, which encompasses the total human presence throughout the Earth system. The United Nations has identified a set of variables describing climate within the different elements of the Earth system. These variables are requirements for monitoring climate, the so-called essential climate variables. The resulting datasets are being used by the International Panel on Climate Change and form the foundation upon which climate models and projections are made. Out of the total of 44 essential climate variables, about half of them rely largely on space-based observations. Meteorological data such as air and ocean temperature are among these essential climate variables. You might have seen animations of phenomena like El Niño and La Niña before, oscillations of the combined ocean-atmosphere system in the tropical Pacific having important consequences for weather around the globe. Another illustration of a climate variable is the variation of the ozone layer, a part of the atmosphere that protects us from ultraviolet and cosmic radiation. The Group of Earth Observation, GEO, is a voluntary partnership of governments and international organizations. It provides a framework within which these partners coordinate their strategies and investments in Earth observation. The overall goal for GEO is to establish a global Earth observation system of systems, GEOS, covering all the elements of the Earth system. When GEO Plenary met at Washington, D.C., USA, in November 2009, they specifically addressed data sharing policy, while at the same time celebrating new additions of observing systems contributing to their GEO portal, the direct web interface through which the user accesses GEOS and can search for information and services. GEOS is providing support to benefit 9 societal areas: disaster, water, health, weather, energy, ecosystems, agriculture, biodiversity, and of course climate. Returning to the Climategate research unit at the University of East Anglia's meteorological data supporting global warming, it wasn't the university who owned or collected those data, but meteorological institutions with strict rules on its use, partly imposed on them by government. A research institution like the university was not, and is in fact not, in a position to share those data, but they are allowed to analyze them. At the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Copenhagen in December 2009, the World Meteorological Organization, one of the participating organizations of GEO, announced that the first decade of this century is the warmest yet in modern observation times. Their announcement is based upon data from their member meteorological institutions from all over the world. Still, the raw data are not openly available to all users. However, ESA's member states took open data access a step further when in November 2009 they approved the new principles for the Sentinel data policy, which establishes full and open access to data acquired by the upcoming Sentinel satellite missions. The Sentinels comprise 5 new missions being developed by ESA specifically for the operational needs of the Global Monitoring for Environment and Security Program, GMES. GMES is an European initiative to ensure provision of Earth observation services that are tailored to the needs of users, both public policymakers and citizens, on a sustainable basis. As part of the ESA-led GMES space component, which guarantees access to a variety of Earth observation data, ESA and the European Commission work together to define the principles and implementation scheme of the Sentinel data policy. A final improvement in the EU system remains, demonstrating yet again the complexity of implementing an open data policy. I'm Bente Lilja B, a green space, a green earth for Astrocast.tv.